I know my boundaries. I want to fight Anthony Joshua exclusive because I know that I will beat Anthony Joshua's ass. I know
he just got knocked out, right?
Yeah. He doesn't have a chin and he has no skill and he's stiff. And I love you, Anthony. We're friends. All this, but I want to fight you.
Joe this morning, he went, listen, of course, I'd fight. I mean, you know, if the question was asked to Jai, would you fight Jake Paul? And there was...
I wouldn't fight him, I'd bash him.
Yeah. But he might do it. He might just do it for, you know, just for doing it, for the sake of it. But obviously we know, listen, Jake creates massive events.
Jake Paul, you are absolutely delusional. While he has been vocal about wanting to fight top-tier boxers, Anthony Joshua has now responded. Speaking to his promoter, Eddie Hearn, Joshua simply said, *, listen, I fight him. * Hearn shared this revelation, emphasizing that AJ never backs down from a challenge. Though a fight between them seems highly unlikely due to the massive gap in experience, Joshua's willingness to entertain the idea has sparked interest. Whether Paul genuinely wants that smoke or is just stirring up hype remains to be seen, but one thing is certain, AJ is always ready.
Yeah, I want to ask you a question because the world of media went mental this morning. Anthony Joshua against Jake Paul. Please put this to bed or light the fire. What's going on?
I mean, sorry. This is the first time I've spoken about the fight. To be honest, like, I look at it and I think Jake Paul against Anthony Joshua. I mean, look, for me, we'd do it for the banter. Do you know what I mean? Like, AJ would fight Jake Paul. He'd fight anyone, to be honest with you. And if Jake Paul wants to step up and fight Anthony Joshua, he'll need the relevant insurance. But, you know, the only thing that was disappointing was he says 2026. I mean, that's like calling someone out. That's like me saying, you know, LA Olympics for the surfing, 2028, I'll be there. Do you know what I mean? Do it in 2025 if you really want to do it. You're not going to get really much better at this stage, but I don't know, those two have spoken. I spoke to AJ this morning, he went, listen, of course, I'd fight. I mean, you know, if the question was asked to Jai, would you fight Jake Paul? And there was...
I wouldn't fight him, I'd bash him.
Yeah. But he might do it. He might just do it for, you know, just for doing it, for the sake of it. But obviously we know, listen, Jake creates massive events, right? You know that's going to create, like, unbelievable viewership, and, no disrespect to Jake Paul, it's a straightforward night's work. But, you know, I like this calling out of Canelo and all this. AJ it's another challenge up there. But, you know, if they're game, why not?
What did he say, AJ, to you about it?
He said, why not? I said, what do you want me to say when I'm asked about it? And he said, tell everyone, I'll fight anyone, anytime. It's not a problem for me.
Jake Paul has set his sights on Anthony Joshua, claiming AJ has no chin, no skills, and is stiff, the YouTuber turned boxer took to Twitter, posting a picture of Joshua making a phone call with the caption, "Look who called 2026 Anthony Joshua." Paul insists he would beat up the former heavyweight champion, stirring up speculation. On the other hand, Anthony Joshua shared a screenshot on his Instagram account capturing a moment where he was on a call with Jake Paul. This post came shortly after Jake Paul publicly called him out, asserting that he would defeat Joshua in a boxing match. This social media exchange has fueled speculation among fans about the possibility of a match between the former heavyweight champion and the YouTuber turned boxer. Meanwhile, Jake shared a post from BVAFA Sports which stated, "Jake Paul sent me his list of desired fights for 2025 and 2026 on February 10th, 3 days after the Canelo matchup fell apart. On that list were 6 fighters. One was Anthony Joshua. I called Jake to make sure he was serious. Unequivocally, he was, and is 2026. The boxing community and fans have expressed strong opinions regarding Jake Paul's challenge to Anthony Joshua. Many believe that Paul's ambition to fight a seasoned heavyweight like Joshua is unrealistic and over-ambitious.
Real deal respond to me as I tweeted my thoughts about delusion, which again, I think is more about what Jake said about Anthony Joshua and what he'll do to him. That was the more delusional aspect. Serrano said, "At Jake Paul is the truth." Funny, they say he's a fraud for wanting easy fights. Then he asked for the toughest fights ever, and they say he's nuts. Listen, he was scheduled to fight Canelo, Gervonta, and now he's calling out Joshua. Come on, who else is doing this? Oh, crap, on second thought, he is out of his free. That was more of just Amanda backing her guy, you know what I'm saying, the co-founder of MVP and someone that she really respects.
Adding to the complexity of Jake Paul's boxing journey, reports suggest he is also set to fight Gervonta Tank Davis following Davis' controversial bout against Lamont Roach. Despite this, Paul remains vocal about facing Anthony Joshua, showcasing his ambition to take on high-profile opponents across multiple weight classes.
Gervonta Davis, and she's not the only one saying that. Dan Rafael said the same thing earlier that day or maybe yesterday. I can't believe that that's true or if that was really going to happen. Essentially, the idea being, had Gervonta Davis beat Lamont Roach, he was going to fight Jake Paul next. And this is why I say, like, it's delusional but it's possible. Like, he almost had the Canelo fight, and think what you will about how that went down and how realistic that was going to be. I legit think it was probably close to happening. Now you're telling me there were discussions and potentially, you know, signed to fight Gervonta Tank Davis. And again, I do believe the reason for that is Jake's massive size advantage. Again, that's like a 100-pound weight advantage. How would that even work?
After his bout with Lemont Roach, Gervonta Davis called out Jake Paul during the post-fight conference, adding another twist to Paul's evolving boxing career.
Who were you going to call out? What was the plan originally?
I think he was here. He came in my locker room.
Shakur Stevenson?
He wasn't in my locker room.
Jake Paul?
Next question.
Man, god damn, that's not the Gervonta I know.
Jake Paul's bold call-out of Anthony Joshua, a two-time unified heavyweight champion, has raised eyebrows in the boxing world. Many find it astonishing that Paul, with his limited experience, would make such claims about a fighter of Joshua's caliber.
Jake Paul has just called Anthony Joshua out. Yes, Anthony Joshua, AJ, the two-time unified heavyweight champion of the world. This brother called this man out. Oh my God. Now, in a recent clip on Jake Paul's podcast, I think, he basically said that he will beat Anthony Joshua's ass and he has no skill, no chin, and he's too stiff for him. He also apologized to Anthony, saying, Anthony, I'm sorry, we're friends, but I know I can beat your ass. This guy is tapped in the head. Then again, he almost got a fight with Tank. If Tank beat Lemont Roach when they drew, he would have fought Jake Paul. It was lined up, basically. A lot of people get mad when people say he's the face of boxing. These highly rated boxers want to fight Jake Paul. So, I don't know what to say, honestly. But one thing for sure, AJ will never fight. AJ's too classy for that. Way too classy. He respects the sport of boxing too much to fight this guy. Absolute plonker. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. And make sure you follow for the most up-to-date and sharpest boxing news and content on TikTok.
The boxing community has been quick to react to Jake Paul's comments about Anthony Joshua, with critics pointing to Paul's loss to Tommy Fury and questioning his credibility in assessing Joshua's abilities. One Twitter user mocked Paul's claims, posting, *YouTube boxer Jake Paul, who lost to Tommy Fury, says heavyweight Anthony Joshua has no chin, no skill, is stiff, and that he would beat him. What the hell is this guy talking about? Despite the skepticism, Joshua has shown openness to the challenge, reportedly telling his promoter, Eddie Hearn, listen, I'd fight him. Hearn revealed this exchange, making it clear that Joshua doesn't shy away from any fight. However, many in the boxing world see this matchup as unrealistic due to the massive gap in experience and skill. Some have even called the idea delusional, questioning the legitimacy and competitiveness of such a bout. While Paul continues to push for high-profile fights, whether this one will materialize remains highly doubtful.
Well then, it looks like Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul might be in discussions to fight. They were both on a call to each other earlier, and the viral video went round of Jake Paul saying he would knock out Anthony Joshua. If I'm being completely honest, I think Jake Paul would actually be lucky to make it out alive, and I'm actually being dead serious. I think Jake Paul would be lucky to make it out of the ring with Anthony Joshua alive. Tyron Woodley literally had Jake Paul on skates and had Jake Paul panicking for his life. Imagine what Anthony Joshua would do. Look at what Joshua did to the last non-boxer he fought in Francis Ngannou. That is not going to end well for Jake Paul. But look, let's be real here. This fight should never happen. It's an absolute disgrace to the sport if it does. And yeah, there's got to be a lot of backlash if this actually happens, because it's actually probably worse to the sport of boxing than what Fury in Ngannou was when it came around, or, or Mayweather McGregor. It can't happen.
Jake Paul beats Anderson Silva. We should all fucking boycott the rest of his fights until he fucking fights someone that's on his level, or whatever level we deem him to be on. You talk all this shit about MMA fighters. You talk shit about the UFC. Then you pretend that you want to bring fighters up and you want everyone to get paid better, but then you trash everyone every time they fight. Now we're putting food on your fucking table for you to drag our legends, older, shorter, smaller, past their prime legends that have spent their entire careers running their bodies into fucking car accidents, and then we hold these guys near and dear to our heart. And then this fuckhead just pulls them out of fucking semi-retirement and then just knocks them out in fucking pay-per-view, and then she'll shits on all of us. Go fuck yourself. Why are we still fucking pandering to this